to Beka's Bakery. This video is going to be about music and about questioning what music is. So, just give a quick example here. When somebody enrolls for a music lesson or to attend classes, usually what they learn is the following. This is a piano, this is a bench, and this is a keyboard, and on the keyboard we have 2 black keys, we have 3 black keys, and we have patterns of 3 black keys, and this is middle C, and these are notes, and so on, and you play with your 5 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this is what you would learn in a music lesson. We would learn what music is, and the following things. Let's see. Music is language. Music is communication using sounds, pitches, and the sounds, varying pitches of sound and silence. And the music is conformed to rules of frequencies and timing rules, which we learn when we learn the piano. For example, we learn the range of pitches available on the piano, high and low sounds, and then we learn harmony and mixtures of sounds that go together. We learn patterns of harmony, and we learn tonality, keys, major, minor keys. We learn our C major scale, broken chords. We learn arpeggios. And those are things that we learn. We learn speed, we learn tempo, we learn rhythm, and we learn to go by time. So perhaps one of the first few things a person may do when learning music is and so on. So that's what we do. So music, when we learn music today, there are lots of rules. You learn the rules of pitch, of low and of high sounds. We learn tempo, fast and slow sounds. We learn dynamics, loud and soft sounds, rhythm, short and long sounds, and the patterns of those, and tone, heavy and light sounds, and mood, happy and sad sounds. And so we learn music. Of course, we learn pieces. And we learn songs. A song is music that is sung, and a piece is music that is played on an instrument. And the different ensembles and variations we get with that. So basically, the 2 different kinds of music performance are vocal and instrumental, and also a combination of both. Okay. Now we come to the point of my entire video. That is, what is music? Is what we are learning and teaching music? Is it what music has always been, and what music is the essence of music? So I began to ask the questions: who invented the keyboard? The keyboard that is the basis of all musical theory, of all the patterns of black and white keys and harmonies and key signatures and all those things. Who invented the keyboard? When did the keyboard come about? And then I asked, well, because the keyboard is the central component of Western, sort of modern music. The keyboard is like the basis of all music, because it's so easy to learn music theory and music. Just if you go to learn music, usually you learn the piano. The piano seems to be a central focal point of what we call classical music. Okay, and second question was, where did we get the wonderful notation that we have for music today? Music, those 5 lines. This is a treble clef, this is a bass clef, this is a grand stuff. Where did that come from? I mean, did it just come out of nowhere, or did it slowly develop over time? Because it's such a complete and perfect system, and so is the keyboard. It's such a complete representation of pitches and sounds that, well, how did this happen? How did it seemed to be like nature to have being designed with some sort of intelligent design as opposed to having evolved out of chaos. I mean, that's just theoretical. I know that music evolved over a long series of time. For example, the keyboard, as we know it, keyboard instruments probably came about, well, let's say 13th, 14th century, when the invention of the harpsichord and the clavichord. I think organs probably came earlier. But anyway, organs are sort of like wind instruments, and harpsichord and clavichord, those are like, actually the piano is a string instrument. It's like heart in there. You know, hammers hitting strings, all tuned. So, how did this come about? What do we know of music, and how far back does it really go? Well, the studies led me into this book, An Outline of European History of European Music. And it talks here about the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages says here, church music sprang from that collection of simple tunes which the early Christians used for chanting for the various parts of their liturgy, which we call plain song. These tunes had been gathered from many sources, some of them pagan also, I mean culturally pagan, and then it says here, plain song is pure melody, it has no supporting harmony, and no beat, no regular rhythm, and it floats on great arches of sound endlessly. Whoa. Now that is just completely unlike what music is. No pitch, no rhythm. Well, there is pitch, but there's no harmony, there's no rhythm, and the tonality is completely different from tonality as we know it today. Okay, so let me ask ourselves, if music is sound, then there are lots of sounds that we make when we talk. Who harnessed all these sounds and made them into such an organized system of pitches, of keys, and of modes? Who made them? Who made sound like this and not just like what I'm talking? Who can harness sound like that and harness pitch and put it out, lay it out so neatly and so mathematically on the keyboard, so much so that when we look at the keyboard, we think, well, all the patterns of chords and all those things just fit so well and they're so patterned. Unlike this string instrument, every single note is laid out for you to see and laid out in a very clear division of 2 black keys and 3 black keys and all those things. Well, if music from the 10th century onwards, or around there, with the growing rise of Catholicism, if music, as it was not as we know it in times before, then what do we learn when we learn music? What are we actually learning? Are we learning what music historically was, or what music can be, and the wide range that it could have, the many things it could really encompass? What is music? What are the boundaries of music? And when we learn music, we're learning middle C's and treble clefs and bass. Where did all those things come from? The structures of music, when did they come in? And can we learn music without these structures? Well, let's see. If I can outline history. Now, music has a lot to do with culture. You cannot separate music or any piece of music from the time period and social, the society from which it came. To me, to perform music is like to display an artwork. You need to know what time it comes from, what the people liked, what were the fashions of the time. So here we go. Anyway, we start with, well, according to early European history, first we have pagan, which basically means from the, various religions of the antiquity. I mean, then we come out of that, and of course these were like early Bible types. Before the flood, we have pagan cultural music. Then we have monotheistic music, which is very similar, as you can see in Bible types. The music of, the Bible, the Psalms, would have been similar to the music of Assyria and Egypt and Babylon, the ancient lyres, the ancient what do you call it, the kinnor, all those instruments, the ancient lute and harp, all those would have been pagan, and then we have pagan, like sort of like Gentile, okay, something like that. Then we have Semitic monotheist music. That would be the second stage. But it was basically similar to the other cultures of the day. I mean, music in those days was mainly strings. It could be on wind instruments. Yeah, basically the whole field of music, and that has continued today through two mainly Semitic monotheist religions and cultures, mainly the Middle Eastern culture of Islam and of Judaism. Of course, Judaism, the music that you hear in synagogues today would be profoundly similar to music found in the Second Temple. As it has evolved and developed over time, we find that it too has its own unique modes. So the harmony and all that is totally different from Western music as we know it. Getting a bit ahead of myself there. So from pagan out came Semitic, and of course pagan continued. I mean, I'm calling it pagan not in a derogatory way, I'm just saying it's polytheistic. That's the word. Okay, pagan, and then we have Semitic. Then we go on, and out of the Semitic tradition came the Christian tradition, which later became the Roman tradition, which became the Catholic tradition, which developed by the 10th century, or what we call medieval/Catholic music. And that's the music of medieval times of plain songs, of the lute and all the modes, and without rhythm, without all those things, without rhythm and without harmony, and probably with less instruments than we have. What's happening there? Oh. Well, okay. Okay, and then we went on, and then we have, then came the Renaissance, okay? And out of the Renaissance came two things that seem to be strangely interconnected. We have what we call classical music, and we have Protestantism. Now, Semitic music drew from pagan music. And the Catholic music, as the book says, draws from pagan and Semitic traditions. Both. Okay, then we have Protestant music, which draws from Semitic tradition too. And okay, so Semitic music, in a sense, deviated. The monotheistic beliefs deviated from paganism. Catholic beliefs deviated from Sabbatism, and Protestant beliefs deviated from Catholicism, and the music deviated too. It sort of grew. The music was more of a gradual change rather than a sudden change.